Hiya! So today's video, while I was in Leeds, I interviewed another independent bookstore. I may have talked about this one before. It's called Hold Fast Bookshop and it is on a boat in Leeds dock. It is owned by Vic and Chris, two very lovely people, and I interviewed Chris to learn more about this bookshop. So let's get into that. My first question is, what made you decide to open a bookshop on a boat?
Okay. Well, I can't take credit for that because I thought it was a daft idea. I was wrong, which I have to know. It was Vic's idea. Yeah, we already had the boat. Lived on boats for over 2 decades, and so it really occurred to us to do anything but be on a boat because that's what we know, sort of thing. And I say that like I'm knowledgeable. I'm not really. I've just kind of learned on. Like you do, sometimes you just kind of find things out as you need to, because I wasn't a very practical person before I lived on a boat. Well, then you just kind of watch YouTube and find out how to do things, ask people and swear a lot, and yeah, and that's how and it just sort of it took a long time to do it because it was a burnt out show when I bought it. Called Barge. She's 80 years old this year, and I've enjoyed finding out about the history because the development of Leeds as a city is like traced back to the connection of the waterways, and before the Aire and Calder, which is going to the right there towards Hull, was connected with the Leeds-Liverpool, which starts at Leeds Bridge officially. Before that was connected, like Wakefield and Castleford and Pontefract, those little small towns, they were all bigger than Leeds. It was the connection of the waterways that enabled a massive amount of growth in a really short space of time. So we have a lot to thank the river, and a lot of people, we don't even know it's there, but the word Leeds comes from Leodis, which comes from Leandis, which the Anglo-Saxon translation is people of the fast-flowing river. So it's like, it's absolutely crucial to Leeds, but we don't really, like, as a population of Leeds, I don't think we sort of celebrate it near enough, and obviously there's issues with water companies in terms of privatisation, and actually tomorrow we're going to be testing the water again. So like, yeah, I think it's good to have that content, you know, because it's like a little parallel universe, the waterways.
Yeah.
You know, where you're in the city, but you're actually interact. You see a lot more nature. We've got that top there. A lot of people. It's well documented that the south side of Leeds, there's not much green space, so any interaction with nature that you get is kind of precious, and we feel, you know, I think that it's quite a privilege to have that. But anyway, I've got off on a massive tangent there. I'm sorry about that. But
It's okay.
yeah, it wasn't my idea, it was Vic's idea.
But you touched on the testing of the water, so what made you decide to test the cleanliness of the water?
Well, I used to drive the water taxi, did that for 7 years before this, and I've seen with that, I've seen sewage being pumped into the river near the train station, and I know it's a massive issue because different water taxi drivers have reported it to the Environment Agency and nothing's happened. And about a month ago we watched the Channel 4 documentary called Dirty Business, I think Dirty Water or something, and that told the story of how privatisation has really brought down the quality of the water levels because the money's going to shareholders instead of essential maintenance, instead of, you know, looking after the network, it's going to shareholders. So it's gone from a thing that we all own to a thing that rich people own, like so many things in life. And just watching that documentary got us really riled, and then we stumbled across this organisation called Planet Patrol who send out free kits so anyone can do it, and hopefully more people along the river will do it because it's citizen science, and just normal people is quite often more effective than the institutions that we used to put faith in. Like normal people, just normal concerned citizen science is really effective. And I mean, to be honest, they already test it for the swimmers and the stand-up paddleboard club that come, so they don't go in it if they don't, you know, they have got a swimming club here and they do regularly test it. But we just thought, doesn't hurt to do more, you know, it's like, and it's from a slightly different spot, we're just over on this side. So obviously scientifically you'll get a different reading from the other side of the river. So I think the more people who do it, the better. And it just, aside from the actual science crunching, which we're, to be honest, we're not very scientifically minded, we're hoping that Planet Patrol will help us interpret the results. But just the act of engaging with it and just doing it and just talking about it, that's important as well.
Yeah.
So that's I guess that's a weird thing about being on a boat. It's a different world and it's a different kind of set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Like a lot of bookshops
Yeah.
have that kind of, I've had to build a ramp to get on because when the water level rises, obviously, it's got to be the most important thing with a boat is getting on and off and it being safe. So that is an issue that doesn't affect 99.9% of bookshops in the UK. So,
Yeah.
there's another one in London called Word on the Water. They're a brilliant set of people, and they've got a beautiful curation, beautiful boat. So yeah, they're worth a shout as well.
So why do you think it's important to support independent businesses like an independent bookshop?
Because independent businesses, they care. Like Jeff Bezos just does not care. He just wants to make money. And obviously, there's massive. And I don't want to be like judgy about Amazon because, it's tough. It's a tough call, and people make their own choices. But I think there is a growing feeling that these big tech companies, the beauty of an independent business is quite often the money that they'll spend in the local economy and they'll do they just like Vic's chosen pretty much. Like I choose the odd random book about snooker that nobody wants, but Vic chooses really good books. She's got that knack of sort of predicting and sort of she's a counsellor as well, so she's a trained counsellor. So she's got a way of like understanding what our customers probably like to read, and she's really got and people value her recommendations. And I've read a few now, but like I've got to say Vic is the I would have plans on the plans, but like Vic is the chief purveyor, and people really compliment her on her choices and value her judgment, I guess. Because I think a lot about curating, which sounds like we're a museum or something, but it is kind of curation, and they value the fact that there's certain authors and certain books that aren't there, and that's what you do, because you go in Waterstones, you're going to get everything. What people really value, just not being overwhelmed and they appreciate, and obviously we're constantly like taking feedback and like listening to what people are reading, and it's just such a I mean there's probably a million other reasons, but I really think that independent shops, whether it's bookshop, whether it's a record shop or whatever shop it is, like when they pay the taxes for a start. Do you know what I mean? And because we can't afford corporate lawyers to dodge taxes like the big companies do, and it's just a more, obviously it's ethical, it sounds like a worthy word, but it is, because like we'll take we'll use the money that we've got and spend it in the community. We'll spend it on other independent like places because we value it, because we know what it's like to run a business. So it's like and the connections that we've got with like the schools, like this last Christmas we did a thing with social services, making we got a lot of our customers were really generous and bought books to give to social services and for kids that are in care, and that's a brilliant feeling. And and like with the water testing, just anything that an independent business does, it's generally because they actually care and they're passionate, and the passion of what they're doing comes out in the business generally, if it's a good business, and they've got some congruency between what they believe in and what they're doing, whereas the same can't be said for certain other online. No, I'm not saying that everything online is terrible, but let's face it, Amazon is just like, people are just wanting to come off the algorithm. When you come in a shop, you haven't got an algorithm, you've got didn't think I'd be looking at the history of crisps today. But like, then it's like a little wormhole of something that's kind of actually real. Not that, the internet is real, obviously, but it's just...
Yeah, I agree. So what else do you kind of sell besides books? So do you sell the plants and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we've got plants. We've got like some local artists. We've got some like prints and postcards and cards. Yeah, we've got some oat milk chocolate. That's really nice, and it won a blind taste test in Germany apparently a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I give all the plants a name. There's like they're building a park at the Tetley, which is a couple of stones throw it, but it seems to be taking forever. And the more green you can have, the better. I think it makes us think better. It purifies the air, and it just gives us a bit of responsibility if you can't have pets or.
Oh, there's the dog.
children. Oh yeah, that's Audrey. Yeah, yeah. She's sitting on the nest most of the day now.
Oh,
She has to go and have something to eat and
yeah.
go to the toilet or whatever ducks do. Quite how many she's got on there. She's comfortable. Built a ramp for the chicks last year. She built in that tub last year,
Oh,
and it's quite high up, and it's quite inhospitable, the dock, for wildlife in a lot of ways, because on the river you've got the shallow banks for them to get in and out, but in the it's quite deep. There's not too many places where they can just perch and rest, so that's why we've got a few. We've got a little island at the front as well for call it Barry Island. There's Barry's. I forgot what the question. Oh, what else do we sell? Oh, we can exchange national book tokens. So if you get given a book token for a present for Christmas or whatever, we can exchange those. What else have we got? We've got the local South Leeds Life newspaper, which is it's good to read something that hasn't got Donald Trump in it, and it's just about what's on Wednesday in your local community centres. That's good for your brain. Apparently, one of our offers. So, yeah. What else do we sell? That's pretty much it. Yeah, plants, books, and chocolate, and cards and postcards, and little notebooks. We've got some notebooks as well. Yeah, that's about it.
and is there anything else you want to say about the bookshop?
Oh, the bookshop. Yeah, come and have a look. I know it looks a bit weird from the outside, but most people, when they come inside, they're like, "Oh, it's actually really nice down here." I don't know what that's. You know, cause it's a weird experience because you can't see under the waterline from outside. So when you come down, a lot of people get, "Oh, I'm not expecting it to be this big in it." We get it a lot.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, most people are pleasantly surprised, I'd say. I think that's fair to say. And yeah, like. Reading is such a when you read a book, the information and the words and the story, you process it in a deeper way. This is what the research shows, that when you're reading online, like you zigzag and you don't quite, and then you're easy to get distracted. Like with a book, it's a good thing for you.
Yeah.
It's a good, and I've really enjoyed having so many great books I've chose to read. Like. I feel really privileged and lucky that I get to do this for my job, and I really enjoy it. Just like being able to read books and talk about books. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're more than welcome. I'm sorry we don't open more. We're open Thursday to Sunday, so like check the opening day because quite a lot of people come when we're shut to Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're only open Thursday to Sunday, so but yeah, come and have a browse. You know. But have a look. There's some great, there's nice coffee shops. There's North Star. There's Nova Bakery. Hopefully, one taxes. There's sometimes weird stuff going on in the dock. There's like Comic Con, or there's like stuff on at the Armories. The Armories is free, so it's worth having. There's a great vampire killing kit in the Armories, so go and have a look at that. That's what we're cool. Yeah, come down.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for doing this.
No worries.
You can also join Holdfast Bookshop in conversation with authors Jessica Field, Stuart Hodkinson, Paul Chatterton, and researcher Pratichi Chatterjee to discuss the housing crisis. And that is on Wednesday, the 20th of May at 7 p.m. Tickets are sold on ticketsource.com/holdfastbookshop, as shown on this poster. That is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please like and subscribe because I have more interviews to come. Bye!